This is cs952 Introduction to Web Technologies and Design, and this video is going to address a little bug with the latest version of the Adobe Dreamweaver software. Now, when we recorded the videos for this class and when we installed all new software on all the computers at West LA College, this was at the very beginning of April, and 2015 Release 1 was the current version of the Dreamweaver software. Since then, they have released 2015 Release 2. And while Release 2 does have some new features, it does have a few bugs. Unfortunately, one of the bugs affects our ability to change the color of our navigation bar. So if you followed all the steps in Module 1, you had added a navigation bar to your website. The navigation bar that you added was the default basic bootstrap navigation. If we go over here under Insert, we have several different kinds of navigation we can insert. We have Navbar Basic, Fixed to Top, Fixed to Bottom, and Inverted Navbar. The one that we added was Navbar Basic. After we added the navigation bar, we used this website, TWBS Color, to generate the color code, the CSS color code, to style our navigation bar. And then we scrolled down, we were sure to select CSS. We had several different options of what to select. We wanted to make sure that we selected CSS, and then we need to copy this code. So I'm going to drag down, highlight all this code. This is all CSS code that we have copied. Right click and choose Copy. And then back in Dreamweaver, we needed to add a file to hold this code. So we went to CSS Designer and we said, let's add a new source. Create a new CSS file. We went to Browse. We opened up our CSS folder and we created a new file called nav, N-A-V. Let's hit save. OK. And then we're going to say OK again. And now we have a nav file. We clicked on the nav file in our related files menu and we pasted in the code from the TWBS Color website. Now, if you're using Dreamweaver 2015 Release 1, at this point, the colors instantly changed for your navigation. If you're using Release 2, nothing happened, and there was a great deal of frustration. So here's the problem. We're at the adobe.com website, and it says Known Issues for Dreamweaver CC. And we're going to scroll down, and we have Other Issues. When you insert the Bootstrap Basic Navbar component, not the fixed navbar top, not the fixed navbar bottom, not the inverted navbar, but the basic navbar component, the inserted code does not include the class attribute for the nav tag. So it can't match up the navbar with all those neat colors that we picked for the navbar. As you recall from the video on IDs, classes, and tags, our selectors are the glue. They're the parts that connect what we want to do on the HTML structure page with the CSS styling page, and this is broken right now. So this is what we need to do. We need to add this to our navbar. Class equals navbar, navbar dash default. So I'm going to right click and choose Copy. We need to add this class equals navbar, navbar default, because if we look over here under the CSS that's been generated for us, we can see dot or period navbar dash default. So that's the class of all of this. Look, navbar dash default, navbar dash default, navbar dash default. That is the common class for all of this styling. And Dreamweaver is not adding that class. And if the class doesn't match up, the code doesn't do anything at all. So here's how we fix this. We're going to go back to Dreamweaver, and I need to select my navigation bar. So let me go to, doesn't really matter where, I'm going to go to Live View. And I'm going to click anywhere on my navigation bar. And then in my status bar, I'm going to click on Nav. This is Nav. This is the very first tag that holds everything. And I'm going to right click and choose my Quick Tag Editor. And this is where we can edit the class for our tag. There are different ways to do this. Remember, with Dreamweaver, there's always at least 2 or 3 different ways to do things. So I'm going to hit the space bar to add myself a space. And then I'm going to hit Control V, which is the paste command. And I'm going to paste in that line of code that I needed. Class equals navbar dash default. Looks like I have one too many spaces there. That's all I need. Nav, class equals navbar dash default. Let's hit the enter key. And there we have it. Now the colors are back. So that was the problem. With Dreamweaver 2015 Release 2, the basic navbar does not include these essential classes, navbar default. The other versions of the navigation bar do. So this is the little fix that you need to do. Once you add those classes to the nav tag, everything's going to work great. And I'm sure there's going to be some more surprises because that's simply the way that software is. Every time they come up with new features and new additions to software, there's always a bug or two that seems to creep in. Okay, I sure appreciate the students who brought this to my attention, and we will move on.